This is my Hot Wheels car, and today I'm sending it on the ultimate Hot Wheels adventure by building it a giant Hot Wheels track that goes around my entire room, with different obstacles, stunts, and challenges along the way. And at the end, I'm gonna see if it can survive the entire course. 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, so I want the track to go around my entire bedroom, bathroom, and closet, and everything has to connect together into one giant course. So I went online and bought as many tracks as possible. I think we got enough. So using these tracks, let's build the very beginning of the course on my table. Nice. Next, it's time to pick a Hot Wheels for this adventure, and I'm choosing this red Ferrari. Let's see if this works. 3, 2, 1, go. Nice. But the car just crashed straight off my table. So let's expand the course to the next destination, my gaming setup. But there's one problem. It's all the way across the room. So I'm gonna build a floating bridge using these 3D printed hangers that can hold the Hot Wheels track. But before we test it, I still need to build the rest of the track around my gaming setup. Okay, nice. Now the track is complete. So the track starts from the floating bridge, then goes onto the top of my gaming monitor, then it zigzags down my gaming setup. Now let's send the car through. 3, 2, 1, go. Down the floating bridge, onto the top of the monitor, through the gaming setup, and it made it to the first checkpoint. And now the next destination is my bed. And for this section, I wanted the car to travel around my entire bed. So first I connected more tracks from my gaming setup to my bed. Then I built a massive track over my entire bed. The track starts by going across the top of my bed frame, then drops down onto my bed, and next it has to complete a full lap around the entire bed. Let's see if this works. Onto the bed frame, down the giant drop, around the entire bed. It completed the full lap and reached the next checkpoint. And now the next destination is my dresser. But there's one problem. There's a giant gap between my bed and dresser, so I built a massive bridge with this piece of wood, and I connected some track on it leading to the top of my dresser. And then I opened up some doors so I could build a giant track going all the way down it. So the track starts with the booster to launch the car across the bridge, then it lands on top of my dresser before swerving all the way down through the doors. Now let's test it. Through the booster, across the bridge, onto the dresser, and now down through the drawers. And it reached the next checkpoint. And now for the final section inside my room, I wanted to build a giant tunnel going underneath my entire bed. So first I built a downhill ramp from my dresser to my bed. Then I used this giant plumbing pipe that fits perfectly underneath it. I even added lights inside that can change different colors. Then I connected my Hot Wheels track to it. Nice. So let's see if the car can make it all the way through. Down the ramp, now into the tunnel, through the lights, and it made it all the way through. Nice. At this point, we completed the entire bedroom course, but the track is nowhere near finished because I still have to build the track through my entire bathroom and even my closet. So next up is my bathroom. And now the next destination is my sink, but there's one issue. The sink is too high off the ground, so the car can't reach it. So I built this Hot Wheels helicopter station that can transport the car all the way to the top of the counter. But before we send it up, I have an idea. Since I have 2 sinks, I'm gonna build a giant floating bridge across my entire bathroom. Then I'll add a big turn, then a massive jump over my sink. Nice. And now the track is complete. So let's see if it can make it across the entire bathroom and land the jump over my sink. And now the helicopter is going to transport the car to the top of the floating bridge and send it on its way. 3, 2, 1, go. Across the floating bridge, around the turn, over the sink. Is it going to make the jump? Yes! And it reaches the checkpoint. And now the next destination is my bathtub. And for this section, what if I build a track going around my entire bathtub? Nice, but I'm not done yet. Now let's fill the bathtub with water. And I'm even gonna leave the water running to create an actual waterfall going over the track. Now let's test it. Down the ramp, and now under the waterfall. That was satisfying. Around the bathtub, is it gonna make it? Yes! And it reached the next checkpoint. And now the next destination is my shower. And since my shower has these giant glass walls, it gave me the idea to use these special suction cup mounts that can actually connect to a Hot Wheels track. So let's stick them around my shower and see if they can hold up an entire Hot Wheels track. Okay, nice. It actually works. So the track starts with the booster that sends the car into the shower. Then it has to travel around the entire shower without ever touching the ground. Alright, now let's send the car through. Into the shower, around the glass walls, now onto the other side, and it reaches the next checkpoint. And now it's time for the final destination in my bathroom, my toilet. And for this one, I wanted to see if it's possible to build a Hot Wheels track on an actual toilet. So I added a booster, then I built a track wrapping around the bowl before bringing it back down to the floor. And I even added a toilet car and a skibbity toilet to watch the action. Now let's send the car through. up onto the toilet. Please don't fall in. Is it gonna make it? Yes! And it reaches the final checkpoint inside my bathroom. Okay, at this point, we completed the entire bedroom and bathroom course, and now it's time to move on to the final room, my closet. And since this is the final room for the entire course, I wanted to build my biggest track yet. First, I built a track across the top of my closet. Then I built a floating bridge that connected both sides of the room. From there, the track wraps around my entire closet, creating a giant spiral track. And then for the grand finale, I built a huge drop that leads into a massive jump through a ring of fire and over these 10 cars, before reconnecting onto the other side and racing to the finish line. But before we send the car on its most difficult challenge yet, there was one problem. The track starts all the way at the ceiling, so I need a way to get the car up there. And that gave me the idea to attach a string onto my ceiling and build a custom Hot Wheels elevator to pull the car all the way up to the start. So let's send the car onto the elevator and see if it works. And once it reaches the top, we're sending it down. 3, 2, 1, go. Onto the track, around the top of the closet, across the floating bridge. It's still going. Over the shoes. Past the clothes. Through the booster. And now for the giant drop. Is it gonna make the final jump? Yes! Let's go! And it crosses the finish line. At this point, the entire course was finally complete. The bedroom, the bathroom, and the closet. But there was only one thing left to do. See if the car can survive the entire track from start to finish. Alright, here we go. One last time. 3, 2, 1, go. Through the floating bridge. Into the gaming setup. Onto the top of the bed. Down the giant drop. Around the entire bed. Into the booster. Across the bridge. Onto the dresser. Down through the doors. Down the ramp. Into the tunnel. Out the tunnel. And into the bathroom, where the helicopter transports the car to the next section. Across the floating bridge. Over the sink. Yes! Next, under the waterfall. Around the bathtub. Through a booster. Through the shower. It's still going. Out the shower. Into another booster. Up onto the toilet. Please don't fall in. Down the toilet. Okay, nice. Now into the closet, and up the elevator for the final test. Here it goes. Around the top of the closet. Across the floating bridge. And now let's see if it can make it around the entire room. Through a booster, and now for the giant drop. Come on, you got this. No way. Yes, let's go! The car actually survived the entire course. Wow, that was actually crazy. We really built a Hot Wheels track through my entire bedroom, bathroom, and closet. And this is officially the biggest Hot Wheels track I've ever built. But if this video gets 100k likes, I'll build an even bigger Hot Wheels track going through my entire house. Comment below what I should do next. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.